Hey, what's up, everybody?
Every now and again, the business boys run a little bit late, but I get a chance to sit and talk to their guests. We decided that we're going to make a podcast with it, and so here it is. We're going to call this one the
Creative Business Trundy.
How have you been, man?
I have been busy, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah, work was busy, and then getting ready to go to London involved a lot of stuff. Finding renters and getting my place ready for people to live in.
That's a whole thing.
Finding a place of my own in London.
How long are you going?
I'm leaving January 25th. I'll come back mid-May.
Okay. So
a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's it's an exciting thing.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Is it the first time you traveled for that long since you had kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And they left yesterday. Their mom and them flew to Germany last night.
Okay. So are they going to be in London while you're there?
They're going to be in London the whole time too.
Yeah.
So we'll do the every other week deal.
That's fantastic.
The entire time.
How the fuck did you manage that? It's just, you know what I mean? It sounds like you guys have like
it was
the
tricky.
best divorce / co-parenting in the history
It's been
of anything.
going well. It's
Yeah.
been going really well.
You have like Nanny McPhee going on. That's cool stuff.
I have no idea who that is, but
Me either, but I
Sure.
giggled
No
to
culture in
I
it.
giggled to make Seth feel good.
Oh, you don't have to do that. I got a basket full of Nanny McPhee stuff.
What the fuck is Nanny McPhee?
Nanny McPhee is like a nanny, and she was magical. And
I gathered the nanny part.
Yeah,
you
it's in the
couldn't-
name, but she's magical and like she helps these kids not be brats.
I feel like sometimes Seth brings stuff up just so he can have it fly across the screen. You know what I mean? Just so he can.
everything Mary Poppins is, who we definitely would have known.
Yeah.
It's
So
Cool.
Nanny McPhee is after Nanny Mary Poppins.
yeah, she's afterwards.
Okay.
She comes to the house really ugly. She's got like a snaggletooth and a crooked nose, and then the more the good the kids are, the prettier she gets. And then whenever she gets really pretty, she has to leave and she becomes ugly again.
Huh.
Yep.
What's
I'm
the
not
lesson
making
there?
that up.
The lesson is don't become attractive to little children or they'll make you
Yeah.
leave. Once the kids start
Time to go.
like, yeah, it's just it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like you just made that up.
It
'Cause
does.
you-
And
yeah.
as I described it, I'm like, I don't know if this was very good. I was like 8 when I watched it.
Gotcha. Anyway, so it sounds like you got a real Nanny McPhee situation
Hey.
going on.
Yeah.
100%.
How's comedy?
Comedy's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2022 was a good comedy year.
Yeah. A lot of traveling.
Did a lot of traveling, did some festivals, started getting some club work
Gotta love that.
at Good Nights and the Raleigh Improv. They started booking me, and that felt good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like, step number 6, but it's like the first step in that getting
Yeah.
consistent club work. You go
Yeah.
do those little things, and people are like, oh, you're like an actual funny person, and then you get a little bit of other work.
Yeah, that's been nice. The one bummer about going to London is I just started getting work at those clubs, and now I'm having to turn them down and be like, I'm going to be gone for a little while.
Well, don't tell them why you're gone. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Just tell them I can't make those dates. I really appreciate it.
Right.
I'm already booked or something like that.
Right.
They don't have to know you're not
What
booked.
if they like already knew, like, oh, Nanny McPhee. All right.
This fucking guy with the crowbar, not the Nanny McPhee thing. You just say, and then London's got a really good comedy scene too, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do a bunch of
Yeah, man.
comedy stuff out there.
If people see you not showing up to their clubs and then see you doing comedy in London, that's only going to work out for you. It's a good thing. And even if you're missing the little bit of work now that you're getting, it does feel like it's losing momentum, but you'll pick right back up in place. And as long as you're still getting up out there, and you're going to have like real experiences that are going to translate to your comedy, so it's only going to be a good thing for you.
Yeah, I hope so.
And you're one of those comics who's you're one of the rare instances of being good at comedy and having your life kind of together. You're not a fucking tire fire. You know what I mean? I think you're gonna be fine. You know what I mean? I think you could take 2 months to go to London, and then come back and be all right with comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still gonna get booked at Monstercade. You'll be all right.
God bless Monstercade.
God bless Masicampo. I was thinking about it yesterday because I was talking to a couple people who went out there not that long ago, and I was thinking about it. I was like, man, places like that really were super important in the beginning. I needed to be able to go and say what the fuck I wanted and also weather a storm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's got both of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it has both of those. And, doing it there. And then when you do get on a bigger stage and some tiny thing goes wrong, you don't lose your mind because I had a guy throw a cup of throw up at me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you go through these rough ones.
I like how he was nice enough to catch it in a cup, but then later felt like he had to throw it at
Well, you got to get the distance.
It turned out the more throw up he caught in the cup, the more attractive he got. I don't know if you've heard of that story.
Yeah.
He was Barfly McPhee. That was
McHeave.
There you go. You fixed it.
We got it. We did
it. We did it.
See what we did there?
He asked me, he said, which is funny, we were sitting here earlier eating chili cheese Fritos, and we were waiting. I was like, have you heard from EJ? He said he's coming. And then he said, I heard his parents are lovely. And I was like, it's an interesting thing. And I was wondering who he heard it from. And then I was wondering if it was me.
It was.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
Because your parents are lovely. And then I was like, well, it didn't surprise me that if multiple people had said EJ's parents are lovely, I'd have been like, that makes total fucking sense.
You know what they say about EJ?
Yeah. How are your
That's funny.
How are your parents, man?
They're great. Yeah. At my 40th birthday, I had a backyard comedy show.
That's right.
My family came out, and Dehaj went out. He did like 5 minutes on me having a good dad. Like, cool. Like, EJ's doing great. He's got a dad.
Yeah.
He's got a cool dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're good.
Yeah.
They're retired and loving it. And
yeah.
Traveling.
Your dad seemed like a guy who appreciates a good story.
He does.
Yeah.
That's right. I think we sat outside.
I sat with him for like 4 hours.
Next door. And
outside. The bar closed down. We just had
right.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an interesting dude.
Yeah, he loves the story. He's got a bunch of his own.
He's had like a wild life.
I mean, he grew up crazy poor in the Philippines, like sharing a bedroom with his 6 siblings, and
now he's retired.
Figured out a way to come over here. Yeah, joined the Navy. Now he's retired and doing great.
How old was he when he moved here?
When was that? That was like 77. No, that was like 1980. So,
what year were you born?
82.
82, yeah.
Yeah, he was like mid-20s, like 25, 26.
It's so wild, man. That's why I remember being super interested in him. It's like, I don't know. It's just I'm so impressed by that amount of work because I have a hard time getting out of bed by noon. You know what I mean? And then I meet somebody like that, I'm just like, how the fuck did you do all these things and then continue to do all these things and be like a good parent and like crazy?
Yeah, he did a lot.
Yeah. Good granddad, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was fun. Yeah. He's just very young at heart. He's like got a band.
Yeah.
He like parties.
What instrument does your dad play?
He plays the guitar and he sings and he writes the songs.
No shit.
That's cool.
And he always does like young people stuff.
Are you musical?
Not like my dad is. I mean, I have a guitar and I've messed around with it.
Song in his heart.
You can play?
I can play just enough to entertain myself.
Hey.
I couldn't entertain anybody else, but I could sit in a room and have a good time.
I don't know, man. I could watch almost anybody play, even if it's poorly, just because I would love to play so much. And I asked Neil one day, I was like, I wonder why, man, I have this guitar and I just can't play it. I just don't know why I can't sit and practice it. And he was like, yeah, you don't want to. And I was like, I guess that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because if I did want to, I would. It's so difficult to get. When did you start practicing?
High school, like later in high school. It is. It's such a slow. what you got to do with your hands is so unnatural. And it just takes some time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of that.
Yeah.
You've been playing since high school. Are you one of those guys who's better than you think you are? Are you just being humble?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I know those guys.
You do? Yeah.
But I don't play that much. It's just, every once in a blue moon. Like I played a lot the first couple of years I got the guitar, and then I'll just pick it up every once in a while.
Right. What other hobbies you got like that? Where it's like, I just want to see if I can do this thing?
Yeah, a lot of little things.
Is it escapism, the guitar? Or is it?
For sure, yeah.
Because you can't think about your day while you're doing that, right?
Right. Yeah, it's nice. At the end of like a rough day, it's cool to like just grab it and disappear into a room and just sing some songs.
I would say the same thing about like pills back like 10 years ago. Just grab it, take them, go in a room, sing some songs. You know what I mean?
That's right.
What are the other things that you do what other little skills you got?
Show us.
I mean, I like making stuff. Yeah.
What kind of
take my
stuff?
shirt off? I like to draw, paint. I wrote a crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
I wrote a few.
You wrote a crossword puzzle.
I mean, I wrote one for the New York Times.
Whoa.
So I went through like a writing crossword puzzle phase.
You wrote one for the New York Times, or was it in the New York Times?
Well, it was the April 10th, 2011 New York Times.
You dropped that very
crossword.
casually.
Yeah.
Well, it'll just be these one-off things where I'll see something that looks cool and be like, I want to see if I can do that.
Yeah. And then
like I watched, there's this documentary called, I think it's called Wordplay, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Where they follow, it's the New York Times, it's the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament. It's like every year. So they follow like the badass puzzlers, the rock stars of the crossword world. And the big kind of famous dude, he's not especially great at solving them, but he's the editor for the New York Times.
Okay.
He edits the crossword. He's sort of like the ringleader of that world, the cruciverbalism world.
Okay.
And he walks people through. You can like, I didn't know this. I'm watching this documentary. It's like anyone could submit a crossword to the New York Times, and if they like it, that's their. He doesn't write the crosswords. People will send him in, and if he likes it, he'll tell you, oh, change this, change that, and then we'll put it in.
No shit. So that's.
And there's a scene where there's a experienced crossword puzzle maker who sits down and makes one, and it just looks so cool to me. I'm like, damn, that's
no shit.
He does it on the spot, this guy?
Basically,
wow.
Yeah. He just sits down, draws the grid, starts filling it in, thinks of a theme, and just does it.
I never even thought about it.
Yeah, me neither.
I never even thought about the skill or effort it takes to put a crossword puzzle together. I can't imagine. I just thought it would probably computer generated.
Yeah, me too.
Computers can help, but a computer can't make a good one.
Right.
Like it'll fill it in, but you want like common words, you want fun words.
Yeah.
And
how long did that take you?
I don't know. It took me a few weeks. I was in grad school.
One draft, or they send it back to you?
Yeah, I had like a pretty heavy theme. I don't know if you ever do the New York Times crossword.
I've done it. It's been a long time. Yeah.
But sometimes they'll have these themes, and the ones that I liked a lot, they'd have a theme that would kind of paint a picture with the crossword.
Yeah. Right.
Where like the letters would make something kind of interesting, and I wanted to do one of those. So I did one draft of a puzzle and I sent it in. I thought they'd see the theme, but they didn't see it, and they're just like, thanks, but I think we'll pass. I was like, oh, I thought it was better than that. So I circled the theme answers and sent it back in.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, actually, okay, yeah, we'll take this, just change.
Right.
We don't like this line or that. We don't like these few boxes. If you can change those and make them something better, we'll take it.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I found your crossword.
No shit.
There it is.
Nimbus, haziest.
That's so wild. No spoilers.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Too late.
Oh, it does have a theme. I see the theme.
Do you
kind
see
of thing.
the?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I
man.
paint a picture on the grid with the words. Yeah.
That's it's crazy that you saw this thing that's like a little difficult, and you're like, let me make it more difficult before I send it in. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just a regular crossword puzzle would have been impressive, but you went with the expert level crossword puzzle.
It's a decent one. I'm proud of it too.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like there are these blogs I go because I like to do the crossword when I've got time, and I'll always go to. There's a whole community. It's like a whole world. I've been wanting to talk about it on stage. It's such a funny little
What stops you?
world. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's how I feel about like wrestling.
yeah.
Like I want to talk about wrestling on stage. I love wrestling. I love watching it. I love talking about it.
Yeah.
I used to do it, and I've never talked about it on stage. Like
Huh.
I think I've brought it up maybe twice on
Yeah,
stage,
interesting.
but in passing.
Right.
And
Same with crossword puzzles for me. Yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know how to do it the service that I would like to do it on stage.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure that's
can't-
a part of it for me.
I
yeah.
somehow can't. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's so much a thing that's just normal to me
Mhm.
that it doesn't feel like it's.
You
Yeah.
don't know the extraordinary part.
Honestly, it's just a few days ago I was thinking about it. I'm like, this world is insane. I've been in it so long. I haven't thought about because I'm on these listservs with these other crossworders, and I go to these blogs every day to see. Oh, they'll like rate the current day's New York Times crossword, and
right.
people will like comment and talk about if they liked
Thumbs
it or
up,
not,
thumbs
and
down.
yeah, and
Yeah,
what the parts they liked and where they
Mhm.
had a hard time. And yeah, I'm just so used to that world. It seems normal to me, but
It is
stepping out, I'm
interesting.
like, no, this is an insane little
Yeah.
community I should talk about.
It is interesting, yeah, and it's interesting when you find these little pocketed worlds which have a lot of people in it, but it's not everybody, and it's a small percentage of the population. And then you got to go
Yeah.
present it to everyone,
Right.
and you also like the easy thing to do would always be to just make fun of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying this for I don't know, fucking 10 years, like. Talking positively about a thing on
God,
stage
yeah.
is so fucking difficult.
It is.
I've been chasing writing a love letter to a thing, and I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. For a little while, it was like my kids, and then it was comedy
Mhm.
itself, and then it was just bad decisions. You know what I mean? And just like saying, "Hey, here's the thing." Comedians can go on stage and fucking make fun of anything. It's so
Right.
easy to just fucking punch
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Fuck this thing. Fuck these people. Fuck all of this. And it's like, here's a thing that's fucking fantastic, and I love it. And this is why it's funny. The best example I've ever seen is Shane Torres. He has a bit about Guy Fieri,
Yeah.
and he does it on, I think it's on Conan. And I bring it up all the time, and I tell people, he goes on, he's like, what the fuck did Guy Fieri ever do? And then he says all these great things about him, and it's a fantastic example of that because it's so difficult to do it. Not
That's
only is
great.
it difficult to say and get out, it's difficult to get people to agree with you
Right.
because you typically the person on stage has to be negative.
I have seen that bit.
Yeah, it's such
was
a
a
good
great
bit.
one.
Yeah, and it's one of the only examples I've ever seen of it done well, where someone is saying, "Hey, here's a thing I enjoy."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to
Do-
ask who you can think of who does it. I feel like Gaffigan does it with food.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he's just talking about how much he loves bacon
Yeah. How good bacon is.
for
Yeah,
like
true.
15 minutes,
Bacon.
and it's hilarious.
Yeah. Gaffigan is good at it. That's right.
I can't think of any specific bits, but I remember having the thought that Ron Funches
Mm,
does a good job with that too. He talks about
that's true. Yeah.
his son and video games.
Yeah. He never pokes down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
But
back
the
and-
fact that we're struggling to find a
I
couple
know. It's crazy.
is wild. That's how difficult it is. Well, that's the challenge for 2023. You do
There
a
it is.
crossword puzzle bit, and I'll do a
Wrestling and
bit.
crossword
That's
puzzles.
it. Yeah. Let's end the year with two specials called crosswords and wrestling and
There it
puzzles.
is.
You said you did that when you were in grad school.
I was in grad school, yeah, working on my dissertation.
What
and,
that is?
Distracted myself with writing a crossword puzzle.
What's a dissertation?
There are worse distractions.
Yeah.
What's a dissertation? Because I've
Yeah.
heard the word. I think I know what it is. It's like where you just
Yeah.
you're stating your case on why.
Yeah.
you
I
believe-
mean, the whole idea with the PhD is you're now contributing something new to this field
Something new.
that you want to be a part of.
That's so much
You want to
pressure.
show you're an expert by, and it has to be, at least that's how it used to be. You should be making some novel contribution, just a little tiny increment added to the field.
So what's
And
that
you're
say?
presenting your work and defending it.
It's like an hour or two
ultimately.
just sitting down writing about it? Or?
And I wish it were. Yeah.
I can tell by the
That'd be
pain
nice.
on you. What's the process of that dissertation? What did
Yeah.
you write yours on, if you don't mind?
I mean, for me, it was actually not too difficult. For my field in social psychology, we're able to do a lot of work. It's pretty easy to get access to people because we're running experiments on people,
Right.
how they think and make decisions. So we're actually collecting a ton of data where, unlike like in other fields, I don't know, in chemistry or physics, you might be having like one big study that takes a long time to set up
Right.
and get to work where you're tinkering with your methods and things. But a lot of ours are pretty straightforward. So the process for me was pretty easy. I had like 15 projects and I just picked one. I'm like, this will be my dissertation just because this is what I'm working on right now.
So is the thing you're working on right now, or was it the thing you were kind of most interested in?
It was a little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the most interesting work, but
Gotcha.
it was like my pet project during the few months where I had to defend something and call it my dissertation.
So that it's a couple months, that dissertation work?
Most people, it takes a lot longer.
Really?
But I mean, there was a lot of work I did that set me up to have this project where I could knock it out in a couple of months and call it my dissertation.
Yeah.
So I mean, the groundwork took 5 years.
Right. Well, it's like comedy, right? Like somebody's like, "Oh my God, you got paid a couple $100 to do 30 minutes." It's like, no, dude, I got paid a couple $100 to work for 11
I
years.
spent 10 years writing that 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's all the experience that leads up to this thing, and then you just kind of put it together. The set is free. The work was
for sure
difficult.
Yeah, but some people, I mean, where it's a little different, or even in my field, if they're just taking longer or doing something that's a little bigger, it'll be 6, 7, 8 years.
Wow.
Before they successfully defend a dissertation.
That's
it could be a lot of work.
I always see people like, "Oh, my dissertation is all stressed out. I didn't know it was like I was just like, get over it." You know what I mean? I didn't know years is a wild.
It's a crazy, and you're sort of being paid. It's a full-time thing. It's like your job.
Right.
You're often teaching to get paid, but they're paying. It's like you're living in poverty basically the entire time.
So it's just like
doing a
comedy.
lot of work. It's so similar.
Is it really?
Academia is so similar to comedy.
Really?
Just
How
the trajectory.
So?
Yeah, just the humble beginnings, and you gotta be really passionate about it, and you put in a ton of work, and you're really grinding it out. And a lot of people don't. They just drop out and don't really. It doesn't go anywhere. They never make money off of it.
Right.
Most people who get PhDs, they don't. Most of us think we're going to become professors or something similar when we get our PhD. Most people end up not doing it. They're waiting tables with a PhD, or they're doing something completely unrelated.
And then there's comics who get passed as features and start getting work, and then they're waiting tables at the comedy club with the guys who have PhDs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
That sounds very similar. It is I've noticed with comedy, Tom Simmons and I have had this disagreement a few times where new people will say they're comedians, and he's like, "Oh, you're not a comedian until you this amount of time in," and then I just would disagree with him. And then I realized, like last week, I had a little some clarity on my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Why I disagreed with what he said.
Yeah.
Is because I felt like a comedian 3 months in. Because I was intent on living in a van to do this thing. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't tell me that it wasn't a stand-up when I was doing it every night at great cost. You know, personal, mental health, and money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The commitment I had to it. And then there are people who do comedy. They'll be like, "Oh, I've done comedy for 8 years." And they're like, "I've never seen you."
Right.
You know, and so I think for me the differentiation has always been like, it's the commitment to that, to the thing. And so it sounds like
like
it's a good bit the same way with that. Like you
Yeah.
have to be really fucking wanting it to get there. Yeah.
For sure.
What's up, brother?
Hey.
Neil Hoover, everyone. We were just talking about EJ did a crossword he did a crossword puzzle, very impressive. He made a crossword puzzle for the New York Times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty well.
You were in it.
Yeah. We were just talking about grad school and then how academia is very similar to starting comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, he said it, but
Great recap.
I'm being
Macadamian?
Yeah.
All right. Fucking Seth coming in hot with these off the screen Nanny McPhee macadamia jokes today.
The crossword puzzle, was that something early on or like before comedy? Or?
Yeah, that was long before comedy. That was when I was in grad school.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote one, sent it into the New York Times. They published it.
What's your degree in exactly?
Social psychology. I got a PhD in social psychology.
Okay.
And so, wait, you said you guys do a lot of studies. When I see those ads, when I was a young comedian and they were like,
Sometimes,
come on
yeah.
in and do a study. Is that you guys?
That's some of us, yeah, for sure.
That's interesting.
That's all of scientists, right?
A lot of social scientists, yeah, pay people, post ads around town or in the paper.
So is that what when you go to London, is that what you're doing over there? You doing a bunch of studies in London?
I'll mostly be doing some writing. So I've just got, that's like the bottleneck for me with my research. I'm like collecting data all the time. Data's pretty easy to come by because we also have a bunch of undergrads on campus where if you take intro psych, it's a requirement to do like 9 to 10 hours of
really?
studies to be a participant in the professor's experiments.
Gotcha.
And it's supposed to be a learning experience for them, which it can be, but most of them, they want to get it done. But so we can run hundreds of participants through experiments every semester.
Gotcha.
So I'm always getting data, but writing them up is like,
Right.
writing is
Yeah.
tough to find the time and do it. So I'm mostly going to be doing some writing, but there's a center over there that I'm going to be, I'll have some office space in and be attending some talks and like
Nice.
maybe establishing some collaborations with some people over there.
And that's in London, you said?
That's in London.
Nice. When is this?
I'm going January 25th. I'm flying out to Scotland, and then I'll make my way down to London. I'll be there for a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, till mid-May.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
it'll be good.
Do some British comedy out
I'll
there.
do some British comedy also. We'll see. See how it lands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're a good writer, so I'm sure that writing is... You said that's one of your bottlenecks, but that seems like one of your strengths.
I mean, comedy writing and academic writing feel very...
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
There may be
Different?
some similarities, but they feel... Yeah, just the volume of... I don't know. Writing an academic paper... I guess it's just less fun because I'm...
Yeah, I get that.
It's got to
I'm
be
not
very
trying to get
thorough.
laughs. Yeah, I've got to do the research, read papers, cite things.
Somebody reads the paper, they're like, why is there a dick joke right there?
Yeah, they don't.
Meanwhile, you get rewarded for it at the club. So
Citations are a lot easier than they used to be, though.
Yeah, just yeah.
I mean, a
I
lot
mean,
of that...
everything in academia is way easier than it was. Like right before I started, you used to have to send manuscripts around through mail, and
Oh, wow.
it was slow as hell. But yeah, everything's a lot easier now. But I'm still. I always want to do the fun part of the. It's like so. It's the same in comedy, where I want to do new stuff.
right.
In academia, I always want to run a new study or do the next, because it's so fun to design a study, run a study, and see what happens.
Yeah.
But then you got to be like respected in the community. You got to then write it up. You got to publish it.
Gotta follow
That
up.
part sucks.
Yeah.
To write this like boring. It's got to be APA style. You got to use the right language, cite things, format it. It's got to be like this 30 to 50 page thing that you write up, and then you got to send it around to a few of your peers.
Right.
Will read it, and then they'll tear it to shreds. They'll say, "This sucks. Why'd you do that? Explain why you did this. We don't want this." There's so much rejection, and it's such a slog to like publish anything. And that's the only way you get credit. That part stinks, and it takes years
Right.
sometimes to go from I found this cool thing to publishing it.
Mm-hmm.
So on any given day in the office, when I can either write and make move myself like 0.5% toward getting this publication, or sit with my lab and talk about a new idea
Right.
that'd be fun to run. I'm just always, so I've got like mountains of data
Is it like, so
because I always like running new studies.
with comedy, is it you can write the bit, perform the bit, immediate gratification, move on? I mean, it sounds like when you write something academically, you're stuck with it, and even past when you're done with it.
I think also, even in comedy, you're stuck with it too.
That's
Like
true.
you have to keep redoing the
But
same
in
bits.
academia,
right?
writing is the boring part because you've done all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And now you're just, it's the homework. It's like
Can you not hire writers in academia?
I mean, you could.
Wouldn't
but-
that make it more efficient if you could just have people write compile the data for you, and then you go back over it and make
That's
sure it's the way you
true.
want it?
And that's what the really prolific academics, really they're generating the ideas, and their students, their PhD students,
Like the team, yeah.
are doing the writing, or their postdocs or whatever.
Right.
But I don't have that. I'm at Wake. We don't even have a PhD program. I have grad students with their master students who aren't quite there.
Yeah.
So, it's a little harder for me to
What are some of
farm
the
out my writing.
Yeah.